these days, I'm going to get to go out riding with my buddy more than just the trips back into town from the motorcycle shop. Or quick little 20-30 mile loops that we have. It is one of the nice parts about living in the country. It's like you got all kinds of fun little roads to ride on. And we'll go out riding, not for long. I mean, we don't get to ride for more than 30 minutes or an hour at a time. So, but maybe one of these days, it'll work out to where we can go out riding, actually go for a longer ride like this. That'd be kind of nice. Not that I have anything against riding by myself. I actually enjoy riding by myself. Just cruising along at my own pace, doing my own thing. And that's kind of the nice thing about, one of the very nice things about riding by myself is I don't have the experience or the knowledge and riding ability right now to ride with a lot of people. It's like I'm actually more suited to ride with, say, a group of guys on cruisers, because that's more of how I ride. I don't ride aggressive at all like a lot of people do on the sport bikes. It's like I'll play every now and then, but it's not that often. And the tires that were on this bike, on the Katana, whenever I got it, and then they look like cruiser tires. They don't look like sport tires, because they've got the nice big flat long mileage riding in the middle. But then that's about it. They don't have any rubber over on the sides. It just drops off on the sides. And it's probably, before I kind of noticed that, and then my buddy pointed it out to me, the detail on it. Probably a really good thing that I don't try to ride aggressively, because I would have run out of rubber long ago and probably low-sided the bike. Because I don't get down off of it, I don't lean into turns, don't get much lean angle because of the tires, I guess. So it's probably a good thing that I just ride it like a cruiser, for the most part. I mean, it's a cruiser with power to me. It's like what really shocked me was how comfortable I found this riding position. Because I have always thought, even whenever I was a kid, or not a kid, whenever I was a kid, I loved super sports, watching the races and MotoGP and all that stuff. But once I started driving, I always thought that sport bikes weren't real motorcycles. There's no way it can be comfortable, blah, 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 blah. The same story everyone says who doesn't ride them. And I was riding that Shadow, and I was actually looking at getting a, still going to get one eventually, but I was looking at getting a, what was it, a 95 Magna. But they still had to find the parts for it, because it had been wrecked. It had a few things wrong. The shop owner wasn't going to invest in parts on it without somebody putting money down on it, and I didn't want to put any money down on something that I might not get, because all deposits with them are non-refundable. So that would have sucked to put, say, $500,000, $1,500 down on a bike, and then get to ride it and be like, oh, God, I don't like this. This won't do what I want to do, because I want to spend a lot of time on the bike and not just short cruises around town. And it's like my buddy got me on, what was it? It was an 09, just a little Ninja 250. That's all it was. And I was like, oh, that's not too bad. And it's like, I still don't, it's too small, physically too small. Not that I'm a big guy, but it just felt small, because that was one of the complaints I had about the Shadow, is just physically it felt small to me. And then rode it, probably, what was it, 5 or 6 hours one day well, no, I was out and about for about 6.5, 7 hours. I was off the bike for about an hour, I guess, between work and having to stop and get gas and a couple other things, and having to stop and take a break. I actually had to stop after like 4 hours because my back and shoulders just weren't having any more of it. I was like, you know what? I might not be a cruiser person after all. And so then, it was actually that night after I got home, he had texted me. He's like, man, it's like I've got an SV1. You want to ride the 1000? And I really almost didn't do it because I was so sore. And it's like, sat around the house for a little while, and I was like, yeah, it's like I'll catch you after you get out of class and ride it. And so then I got to ride it back into town. I mean, I didn't ride her, 4 miles, if that, and absolutely fell in love. The SV had some risers on the handlebars, so it was sitting up a little higher than I'd like. But everything else about the bike, the position, everything was just unbelievable. And that blew my mind. And I was like, you know what? I might be a cruiser or a sport bike person after all. I did not expect it to be this comfortable at all in any way whatsoever. So, and just the I'd gotten used to riding the Shadow, not having any power at all, and that was the thing that drove me nuts. Is like, even cruising along at 45, 50 miles an hour, couldn't get around people if they were going that slow. It was like drop it down into third and get on it and get around them several seconds later. Or at least that's what it felt like, especially considering that the only person I ever rode with rode a sport bike and he'd just zip around them. So him being on the ZX10 probably just exacerbated the situation and my feeling of the bike not having any power. Oh joy, I got behind the hay truck. And so then I rode the SV1. I was like, you know what? That's what I want. And started riding them. It was kind of funny the way it worked out to get the Katana, because I was sort of looking at it, but I had fun joking around with them and the comments about the can of tuna and all that. And I was actually seriously entertaining the thought of getting an 06 F4i. And I went down there to the shop to ride it, and they had just finished working on it, only had 1,000 miles on it. Absolutely gorgeous bike, still a gorgeous bike. I still love looking at that bike when I go down there. But my buddy took her out to ride, and right before he shifted out of first gear, the engine blew. And it wasn't, I mean, he rode it a little hard, but I mean, it wasn't even up, it's got a 13,000 red line or something like that, and he said he got it up between 9 and, I guess just over 10. And the engine blew. And so he actually kind of saved me, actually he did save me $1,000. Because I went ahead and it's like I rode the Katana, and it wasn't quite the same, obviously, as the SV1. But I liked it still. And then there's that, what is it, St. Catherine's College? All-girls college, I do believe, over there. If I can turn my head. Whoa! This is definitely new. I don't like this. I don't like this one damn bit. Which way was I supposed to go? I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna go the wrong way because I'm going to the college now, it looks like. Wow! Oh man! Let's cruise down here and see what's going on. Okay, there's the highway I want, so... Alright. I'm not going to lose out on my awesome highway stretch that, like I was thinking, because that's the stretch of highway. I guess I could have paid attention to the signs instead of just freaking out over it. As it used to be, this was the main highway here. You just went booking right on down the hill instead of the roundabout now. So, big truck. And it'd be fun just to sit here and play on this roundabout. Except for I'd probably get run over, get hit by somebody while I'm zipping around it, riding circles. Okay. Oh, it's closer than I thought, only 14 miles. Okay. Yeah, the camera can definitely handle that. They'll pull up close enough on me to get the sensor. And I have no idea what I was saying before I got sidetracked. Something about the 10. Oh, but yeah, taking this for the test ride. And, I mean, I like it. It's comfortable. And had the power snuck up on me because I wasn't expecting it to actually have the get up and go that she had. And it surprised me a little bit there. Because I was just trucking along, going back to the, because I rode it pretty easy riding up to the turnaround spot for the test ride. And I was like, oh, okay, because it turns into a 35-mile-an-hour zone and turn around and go back. And I was leaving the 35-mile-an-hour zone. I was like, I'm going to get on her just a little bit. And it ended up going a lot quicker than I expected, a lot faster than I expected, a lot quicker than I expected to get there. And they got a kick out of it because I started to slow down to turn in and ended up locking up the rear tire and just kept going. So I actually got to ride it around a couple turns before I turned around and went back and just couldn't get the feeling, couldn't shake the feeling of how awesome it was, how much I loved riding it. And so that's how I ended up with Anna. And then reading on her on the Campana some, and I mean, I wouldn't by any means call it a sport touring bike. Definitely wouldn't call her a sport bike though. I mean, she's got that huge, she's huge, long wheelbase. I mean, everybody always just doesn't know them, and I keep a net and stuff on the back seat so that they can't see the size indication back there on the 600. And there's a lot of people that ask me if it's 1,000. 1,000 or bigger bike. And I was like, no, she's just 600. And they're like, oh man, that's a big bike. And I was like, yeah. But she's got that nice long wheelbase, nice and stable, cushy suspension. I mean, rides great for me, especially after being on that Shadow. Not that the Shadow rode terrible, but there were some bumps and imperfections of the road that if I wasn't ready for them, they just wreaked havoc on my back and my shoulders. And yeah, actually on my shoulders, riding a cruiser, where it would jar and jolt so much, which was surprising. But then riding this one, it's like I was coming up on one of those spots. I was like, I'm going to remember it. And I started looking for it, and I'd already gone over it. And it was just like a little, I wouldn't even call it a bump. It was just kind of there. It was like a dip. or a little hump in the road is all it was, instead of the bone-jarring jolt that I got on the Shadow. And I was like, okay, I'm completely in love with this bike. And so since then, since getting her, I've probably put 1,500 miles on it. So, but that, I do believe, is about all the motorcycle talk you have to go through.